I'm going to talk to you about how to get into the higher realms. So a lot of people have asked me this, and there's no technique or trick to doing it. It's all about being, in general, healthy. So your physical health affects how you can get into higher realms in the astral plane, unfortunately. So if you're physically unhealthy, it's going to make it a bit harder. I'm not going to say that there are levels or tiers of realms or high and low realms. When I say higher realms, I just mean realms that are high relative to what you usually enter when you're in the astral plane, like pretty high, where everything appears white and everybody seems nice compared to the entities that you typically interact with. It's all relative, so I don't want to jump to the conclusions as to what the higher realm actually is. There's no real solid answer. But yeah, they're typically going to appear white. You're going to be interacting with nice beings. You're not going to have to worry about defending yourself, being disrupted by disruptive beings. And that's what that is. So I was talking about physical health. Right, the physical body affects the astral body. They communicate empathetically, so that's why. It's one of the reasons why your physical health affects your ability to traverse the realms in the astral plane. And as well, the astral body interpenetrates the physical body, or is at least in orbit around the physical body, close orbit, when you are using your physical body. So if you have, say, for instance, negativity in your bedroom around your physical body because your physical thoughts are negative, then your astral body is going to have to swim in that negativity, and it's not going to like it at all. Now we'll get briefly into the subtle body. You want to use tactile imaging to clear blockages in your subtle body, or whatever sort of energy work you're familiar with. Always work with your subtle body, make sure that it's cleared up, because our current era has technology that completely disrupts things like subtle body. So you definitely want to make sure that your subtle body is functioning properly, and that will somehow allow you to get to higher realms. Alright, the next thing is astral health. When you're in the astral plane, you want to make sure to avoid combat when you can. If you can spirit guide a being instead of combating the being, then you should spirit guide the being. As well, if you can avoid defending yourself by contracting the astral body, then I suggest doing that. Like, you can travel to higher frequency realms that being can't achieve, or you can kind of teleport around. It's like I can't really describe what it is. It's like when you navigate to a person or a realm, except you're doing it within the same realm. It's what I call teleporting. You can do that to disorient beings and not have to attack them. They'll eventually get tired and stop trying to attack you, especially if they're material beings. They have like a physical form. And that's how I deal with a lot of them. I try not to attack other beings, because if you attack other beings, you're going to hurt yourself in the end, because we're all part of the same source or God or whatever you want to call it. As well, attacking other beings often involves deploying disruptive energy, or energy in a way that it's going to be used to disrupt the other person's body, and that in turn is going to hurt you. Especially if you're deploying noise energy, it's going to mess with your body. Noise energy is just like random stuff that can't be interpreted, and it's supposed to be deployed to cause other people's bodies to contract, because their bodies can't interpret this patternless bit of energy. Well, that's going to cause your body to just retract as well, because it has to go through your body. So that's like a last resort thing when it comes to astral combat, and I really don't recommend getting into astral combat consciously. You should only do it when you have to, and try to spirit guide when you can. Try to help everybody out, really. And it's very important that you don't contract your astral body unless you absolutely have to. So if something is unknown to you and it's in front of you, it might have a crazy radiant energy that you're not familiar with. I don't recommend contracting because you're unfamiliar with it. Allow your body to absorb its energy. If its energy is noisy and disruptive, then you can contract. But if you contract ahead of time for just because of fear, then your astral body, it's not going to be able to function as properly as it should. You're not going to have the energetic throughput that you had before. So I don't recommend contracting consciously unless you're strategically doing it for some duel that you're having with like an entity. The next thing is to dissociate from physical matter in your physical life. The more attached you are to physical concepts and whatnot, the more limited as to what realms you can access. So if you feel that you have like clothes in a physical form, you're going to be limited to what realms you can access. I mean, you can still get into realms that are perfectly human, that have physical forms and stuff, people walking around with, human form. That's fine. But if you want to reach really high realms with angelic beings that are part of a social memory complex that are all interconnected very efficiently, then you have to get rid of your physical concepts and your physical attachments while you're in the astral plane. And that might be a bit hard to get used to because you'll at first be afraid of losing your physical body, but that's impossible, so don't worry about that. The next thing that you need to do is drop your social and religious programming as much as you can, because it will impede your ability to do things. You'll feel like you're forbidden to do things that are perfectly natural and healthy, just like in the physical universe. So you want to get rid of that stuff as much as possible. I don't want to infringe on your religion or anything, but that's gonna hold you back quite a bit. Any sort of religion is holding you back in the astral plane. I mean, there's the heaven realm. Well, there's probably an infinite variation of heaven realms, but it's nice and all. It's very radiant. There's clouds and nice structures, but there's nothing to learn there. There's nothing to really do if you're an advanced being. So, I mean, there's that realm, and that's about it when it comes to materialistic, religious, high-frequency realms. Okay, a lot of the high-frequency realms are fluid environments. They're not material. They are very abstract. And to get into those environments, which are like the best ones in my opinion, you have to drop your expectation of thresholds and polarization. So at the moment we have the whole yin-yang thing going on Earth, and we tend to polarize things, and we also expect things to have defined edges or thresholds, and that is going to impede your ability to properly traverse the astral plane, and especially stay within those particular environments that don't have these things, the polarization and the thresholds, because it's just going to be so unfamiliar to you. The programming that we have to endure in the physical universe tells us that we are always subject to these things when really we're not, and you have to drop that programming so that you're not uncomfortable in these environments. They just seem perfectly natural instead. And lastly, if you want to get to the really high realms with the social memory complex beings, the ones that are part of a swarm intelligence like bees, just with beings that are on average more intelligent than humans, then I suggest you drop your ego. And you can drop your ego by learning how everybody's interconnected, everybody's from the same place. So if you want to achieve very high realms, if you want to enter super high realms and merge with the social memory complex just to, I don't know, get superpowers, then that's probably not going to work out, because that is service to self. That's not an intent that social memory complex will allow. And productive social memory complexes are egoless. Like, the entities are super interconnected. They don't have cultural barriers or any ego going on there, and they're not going to allow you to be part of them if you're going to bring your ego in like that. And that's it for this video. See you next time.